Not gonna lie, Ho Chi Minh City hit me like a truck. One second you're crossing a street with your heart racing, and the next you're eating some of the best food of your life under a skyline that never seems to slow down. In this video, I'm taking you with me through the best of Ho Chi Minh City in 48 hours. The energy, the chaos, the hidden gems, and the spots that made me fall for this city fast. Let me show you how to do Ho Chi Minh City right. Day 1. History, Culture, and Classic Saigon. Morning, Saigon Opera House. Start the trip right in the heart of Saigon's old town at the Saigon Opera House. This theater was commissioned in 1897, back when the city was the center of French Indochina, and it stands as a massive, cream-colored relic of that era. One quick look at the facade, and you'll see the European influence in the sculpted figures and tall arched windows. It feels like a piece of a Parisian boulevard that was airlifted and dropped straight into the middle of the Vietnamese heat. Cross the square to get a closer look at the stone reliefs. These statues were inspired by the grand opera houses of late 19th century France, which is why the front steps are a permanent magnet for local couples posing for wedding photos. While the building still hosts acrobatic shows and concerts in the evenings, the morning is the best time to appreciate the architecture before the humidity kicks into overdrive. Notre Dame Cathedral. A short walk from the Opera House brings you to another heavy hitter in the colonial district, the Notre Dame Cathedral. Built between 1877 and 1883, the French colonial government literally shipped every single red brick for this building across the ocean from Marseille to ensure it looked exactly like home. The warm, terracotta color of this facade has barely faded after more than a century in the tropical sun. Step back into the center of the square to get the scale of the twin bell towers, which reach about 58 meters or 190 feet into the skyline. While the architecture is pure French Gothic, the energy at the base is all Saigon, with street vendors and locals cutting through the surrounding park. The cathedral has been under a massive restoration project for several years, so while the interior is often off limits to visitors, the exterior remains the most recognizable landmark in the heart of the city. Insider tip. Look for the statue of the Virgin Mary in front of the courtyard. Back in 2005, local witnesses claimed the statue shed a tear, which turned this busy traffic island into a massive pilgrimage site for weeks. Central Post Office. Once the heat starts to bake the pavement outside the cathedral, pivot right next door to the Central Post Office. Built between 1886 and 1891, the hall looks more like a grand European railway station than a place to buy stamps. The massive vaulted ceilings and soft yellow walls were designed to trap the cool air, making it one of the most reliable spots in the district to catch a breeze when the midday sun hits its peak. Take a second to check out the vintage maps of old Saigon painted directly onto the walls near the entrance. They reveal a city layout that's almost entirely vanished beneath modern high-rises. Despite the museum's atmosphere, this remains a fully functioning hub. You'll see locals at the old-school wooden booths mailing letters, while crowds gather under the giant portrait of Ho Chi Minh at the far end. It's a sharp, visual collision of the city's colonial past and its modern identity. Insider tip. Book a postcard and some stamps for about $2.50 and send it from one of the hand-carved writing desks. It's one of the few places left where the pace of the city actually slows down for a few minutes. Late morning. Saigon's historic walking streets. Next, head to the cluster of streets forming the city's historic core. Start on Dong Khoi Street, the former main colonial boulevard known as Rue Catinat. It still carries an upscale, old-world energy where high-end galleries and historic hotels sit right next to sleek, modern boutiques. It's the best stretch in the city to see how French architecture has been repurposed for the luxury market. A few blocks over, the atmosphere shifts at Nguyen Hue Walking Street. This massive pedestrian boulevard is the city's main stage, framed by a skyline of glass towers and fountains. Before the humidity becomes a grind, duck into Book Street. This shaded lane is lined with bookstores and quiet cafes where the shelves spill out onto the pavement. It's a rare pocket of silence in a city that otherwise never stops moving. Afternoon. Lunch at the Apartment Cafe building. From Nguyen Hue, head to the iconic apartment cafe building at 42nd Nguyen Hue. This mid-century housing block is a vertical maze of boutiques and creative spaces hidden behind a wall of balconies. It's a massive flex of Saigon's ability to repurpose the old into something completely new, offering a vantage point over the pedestrian street that you won't find anywhere else in the district. For a midday break, head to the 6th floor for Po Cafe, which is famous for its salted cream coffee and cheesy crab banh mi. A full lunch combo here typically runs between $6 and $10 per person. Alternatively, climb to the 8th floor for Good Day Tea and Coffee to grab their signature iced salt coffee and a slice of tiramisu opera cake. A drink and dessert pairing here will cost you around $10 to $15. Insider tip. Paying the 12-cent elevator fee is an option, but taking the stairs is better. It's the only way to find the hidden murals and tiny local designer shops tucked into the corners of each landing that most people miss. Independence Palace. From the apartment cafe, it's a quick 10-minute walk or a 5-minute grab ride to the Independence Palace. This modernist landmark is where the Vietnam War officially ended on April 30th, 1975, when North Vietnamese tanks famously crushed through the front gates. It served as the residence and command center for the South Vietnamese president, and today it stands as a perfectly preserved time capsule of that era. Walking through the building reveals a sharp contrast between the lavish reception rooms and the grit of the underground command bunkers. You can explore the war rooms still packed with vintage maps and rotary phones, and even head to the rooftop to see the original helipad. Tickets cost about $2.60. It's a striking, unfiltered look at the final days of the conflict and a must-see to understand the city's transition from old Saigon to modern Ho Chi Minh City. Late afternoon, War Remnants Museum. Continue the afternoon at the War Remnants Museum, one of the most powerful and confronting stops in the city. While the courtyard is packed with captured tanks and fighter jets, the real weight is found inside the galleries. These floors document the American War through raw photography and exhibits on the devastating effects of Agent Orange. It's a sobering, heavy experience that offers a necessary look at the human cost of the conflict. The exhibits pull no punches, focusing on the scars that still define the country's identity today. It isn't an easy visit, but it's essential for understanding the resilience that shaped modern Vietnam. Tickets are approximately $1.60. You can buy them with cash or card at the entrance booth, or use the museum's website to grab an e-ticket and scan the QR code at the gate to skip the queue. Evening, dinner and drinks at Chill Sky Bar. Finish the day at Chill Sky Bar on the 26th floor of the AB Tower. This rooftop offers a 360-degree view of the District 1 skyline and the city's glowing traffic below. It's a high-energy spot that captures Saigon's modern nightlife rhythm perfectly. The menu features international and Asian fusion, including Wagyu beef sliders and fresh sushi platters. For a full dinner, expect to spend between $30 and $60 per person, with signature cocktails like the Saigon Punch landing between $15 and $20. Day 2. Local neighborhoods and Chinatown culture. Morning, Ton Zin Church. Start the second day in District 3 at the unmissable Pink Church. This French Gothic landmark sticks out like a piece of bubblegum against the busy local streets, with white decorative details that look like lace. It's one of the most photographed buildings in the city, and looks even more vibrant in person than on a screen. Walking into the courtyard is free and doesn't require a ticket. You can explore the architecture up close, though the doors to the interior are usually only open during Mass at 5 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. The traffic outside is pure Saigon chaos, so grab your photos quickly before ducking into the quieter back streets nearby. Tan Zin Market. A short drive from the church brings you into the beautiful chaos of Tan Zin Market, one of the oldest and most authentic spots in the city. This is where the neighborhood actually gets things done, with mountain-high piles of colorful textiles sitting right next to fresh dragon fruit and local spices. It's a loud, gritty slice of daily life that hits you the moment you step off the sidewalk. The narrow aisles are packed with vendors, and you'll catch the smell of strong coffee and street food cooking near the entrances. It's especially famous for its massive fabric section, where you can find rolls of silk and cotton stacked all the way to the ceiling. You don't need to be looking for a custom suit to appreciate the scale of it. Wandering through the back sections is the best way to see the city's charm without the polished filters. Haiba Chung Street. Step back out onto Haiba Chung, one of the main arteries cutting through this part of the city. Around the Tenzin area, the street is lined with small restaurants, coffee shops, and local boutiques that give you a raw look at everyday Saigon life. It's a loud, high-energy stretch where the sidewalk is a mix of steaming noodle bowls and parked motorbikes. This area is a local favorite for food, and you'll find plenty of spots serving up pho or bun tit nyung, grilled pork noodles, right on the pavement. You'll see the rhythm of the city shift here from morning coffee runs to the frenetic lunch rush. It's a great stretch to wander for a few blocks and catch the midday buzz before heading to lunch nearby. Late morning, lunch at Grilled Pork Noodles, Haiba Chung. Right along the main road is a neighborhood spot famous for its bun tit nyung, one of the best lunch deals in the city. Your bowl comes stacked with cold rice noodles, smoky grilled pork, and a crispy spring roll topped with fresh herbs and crushed peanuts. Pour the chili-flecked fish sauce over everything and give it a massive stir. The mix of warm meat and cold greens is the ultimate fuel for a humid day. A full bowl here usually costs between $2 and $4, making it a favorite for locals looking for a quick, flavor-packed meal. You can just grab a plastic stool, dig in, and watch the traffic blur past while you eat. Afternoon, Jade Emperor Pagoda. From the Tenzin area, make the short ride over to the Jade Emperor Pagoda, a piece of history built by Cantonese immigrants in 1909. While the outside looks modest, the interior is a maze of rooms packed with intricate wood carvings and heavy statues dedicated to the supreme Taoist deity. You'll see a mix of Taoist and Buddhist figures throughout the halls, reflecting how local traditions have blended here for over a century. Since this is an active place of worship, you'll be sharing the space with locals, lighting incense and leaving offerings at the altars. Entry is free, though you can leave a small donation in the boxes if you want. Bin Tai Market. Now it's time to head over to Cholon, the city's historic Chinatown. This is the second market on the list, but it's a completely different animal than Tenzin. Built in the 1920s, Bin Tai is a massive wholesale hub with bright yellow walls and Chinese-style tiled roofs that wrap around a central open courtyard. Inside, it's all business. The aisles are packed with traders moving everything from dried seafood and exotic spices to massive rolls of fabric and kitchenware. You'll see vendors stacking boxes and negotiating deals for local shops all over the city. And, if you're hungry again, make sure to check the street food section tucked right behind the main building, where vendors grill meats for the market workers. Insider tip. Skip the crowded front entrance and head straight for the central courtyard to find the stone memorial dedicated to Kwa Dam, the Chinese merchant who founded the market. Tien Hao Temple. A short walk from the market brings you to Tien Hao Temple, the most atmospheric spot in Chinatown. Built by Cantonese immigrants, it's dedicated to the goddess of the sea, who was the go-to protector for sailors and traders who first settled here. Unlike the Jade Emperor Pagoda you saw earlier, this one feels much more lived in, with sunlight streaming through the open roof directly onto the altars. The real draw here is the architecture. If you look up at the rooftop and around the courtyard, you'll see miniature ceramic figures acting out traditional Chinese legends. The level of detail in the pottery is insane considering how old it is. You'll see the massive spiral coils hanging from the ceiling that can burn for weeks at a time, filling the entire hall with a heavy scent. Entry is free, though you'll need a few dollars if you want to buy incense or a prayer slip. Insider tip. Look for the small ceramic figures on the roof edges. Some of them are actually modeled after 19th century French colonialists as a subtle, cheeky nod to the history of the time. Late afternoon, Nia An Assembly Hall. Deeper into Chinatown, you'll hit Nia An Assembly Hall, one of the most striking spots in the district. This place was built by the Teochew community for Quan Kong, a legendary Chinese general who serves as a symbol of loyalty and righteousness. The inside is a total mood, packed with deep red lanterns and massive carved wooden panels that look like they've been there since day one. Everything centers around a giant statue of the general himself, surrounded by piles of fruit and guardian figures. People pop in all day to light incense, so there's always a steady, quiet energy moving through the prayer rooms. Insider tip: look for the massive, life-sized wooden horse near the entrance. It belonged to the general, and locals often stroke its belly or legs for good luck before they head inside. Kwanam Pagoda. A few blocks over, you'll hit Kwanam Pagoda, a massive tribute to the Buddhist goddess of mercy. This place was founded by the Hokkien community and has that weathered, gritty look you'll only get with serious age. Unlike the more polished assembly halls, the courtyards here feel authentic and packed with history. The vibe inside is dark and moody, with gold-trimmed statues and red lanterns lighting up the altars. Take a walk through the side halls to check out the intricate ceramic dioramas on the roof. The detail's mind-blowing when you consider how long they've been sitting out in the elements. It's one of the best spots in Chinatown to just wander through the different shrines and get a real feel for the local heritage. Insider tip: head all the way to the back to find the hidden courtyard pond. It's a quiet, green corner filled with koi that most visitors miss while sticking to the main altars. Evening: dinner at the Canvas restaurant. Ditch the street food for a night, it's time to level up at the Canvas. This place is a total powerhouse for international buffets, featuring a sleek, high-energy vibe with floor-to-ceiling glass that looks out over the hotel gardens. The menu's a massive global marathon, but you're really here for the legendary seafood. Go straight for the cheese-baked grilled lobster and the fresh snow crab legs. If you want a break from the ocean, the Australian beef medallions and sashimi are top tier. Don't forget the dessert bar. The French pastries are actually worth the calories. You're looking at about $65 for the full spread, or $80 if you want to keep the wine and beer flowing. Saigon River Cruise. Wrap up the night by hitting the riverfront for a cruise. It's the ultimate way to see the city lights without the street-level chaos, giving you a completely different perspective of the skyline from the water. Most boats shove off from the District 1 piers for a 1 to 2 hour loop. As you drift, the city puts on a show. You'll get front-row views of the Bitexco Tower and the neon-lit high-rises glowing across the water. It's a total vibe and a chilled-out way to watch the city reflections hit the surface. You can grab a drink on the deck and soak in the live music while the river breeze kicks in. Tickets usually run between $15 and $30, depending on how fancy the boat is and whether your drinks are included in the price. Watching the city lights shimmer across the water is the perfect, relaxed way to soak in the last of the energy after 2 massive days exploring the heart of Saigon. Useful info for spending 2 days in Ho Chi Minh City. Best time to visit Ho Chi Minh City. Target December to April for your visit. These months fall in the dry season, which means plenty of sunshine and much less rain interrupting your plans. Daytime temperatures usually sit between 28 and 34 degrees Celsius or 82 and 93 degrees Fahrenheit, with humidity that can feel intense if you're walking around all day. May through November is the rainy season. Showers often arrive suddenly in the afternoon and can flood streets within minutes, though they usually pass just as quickly. The upside is fewer tourists and slightly lower hotel prices, but you'll want to plan indoor breaks when those tropical downpours hit. City airport tips. Most international flights arrive at Tan Son Nhat International Airport, located about 7 kilometers or 4 miles from the city center. The easiest way into District 1 is by using the Grab app, Vietnam's main ride-hailing service. A typical ride usually costs somewhere between $5 to $10, depending on traffic. Avoid drivers who approach you inside the terminal offering rides. They often quote inflated prices. If you prefer a taxi, stick with the official companies like Vinasun or Mylin, and make sure the driver uses the meter before leaving the airport. Where to stay in Ho Chi Minh City. District 1 is the absolute go-to for a short visit. This is the city's historic heartbeat, putting you within walking distance of the Opera House, Notre Dame Cathedral, and the main walking streets. Most mid-range hotels here typically land between $70 and $160 per night. If you want a bit more breathing room without straying from action, District 3 is your spot. The area is packed with wide, tree-lined streets, colonial villas, and a massive cafe scene. Hotels generally run between $60 and $130, and you're still just a quick ride from the center. For a deeper local vibe, head to District 5 in Cholon, the historic Chinatown. You'll find smaller boutique hotels and guest houses surrounded by traditional markets and temples. Rooms here usually fall between $40 and $90, putting you right in the middle of the best street food stalls in the city. How to get around Ho Chi Minh City. Navigating the city is all about rolling with the traffic. The smartest move is downloading the Grab app, Vietnam's main ride-hailing service. It's super reliable, and a typical 3-mile ride across the center usually costs between $3 and $6 depending on how busy the roads are. Traditional taxis are everywhere, but stick to the pros like Vinasun or Mai Linh, and always make sure the driver flips on the meter. Walking works great for short hops in the central districts, though crossing the street feels like a high-stakes game of Tetris with the constant stream of scooters. Don't even think about renting a car. The traffic is heavy, the streets are a maze, and parking is a nightmare. Stick to Grab, taxis, or short walks to keep things stress-free. Where to eat in Ho Chi Minh City? Saigon's food scene is a massive blend of Vietnamese, Chinese, and French influences, ranging from plastic stool street stalls to Michelin-starred kitchens. For a legendary bowl, head to Pho Hoa Pasteur in District 3. This family-run spot has been serving Southern-style pho since the 60s and is the city's gold standard. Order the pho bo, which comes with a mountain of fresh herbs and lime. A large bowl costs about $4 to $5. For a high-end experience, grab a table at Anan Saigon in District 1. It's the city's first Michelin-starred restaurant, famous for turning street food staples into fine dining. The menu features creative standouts like the foie gras spring roll and salmon banyong. Tasting menus generally run between $95 and $130 per person. If you want a break from the noise, Hum Vegetarian is a standout plant-based spot with a calm garden vibe. The food focuses on fresh Vietnamese herbs with must-try dishes like the lotus root salad and mushroom hot pot. A full meal here usually costs between $12 and $20. And that's a wrap on our 48 hours in Ho Chi Minh City. My ears are still ringing, my clothes definitely need a wash, and honestly, I loved every second of it. This city is intense, messy, electric, and full of life in a way that's hard to explain until you feel it for yourself. If you enjoyed this adventure, drop a comment, hit subscribe, and let me know your favorite part of the trip. And don't stop here, watch my Hoi An video next, because we're trading the chaos for lantern-lit streets, yellow-walled alleys, and a completely different side of Vietnam. See you at Hoi An!